Rome didn't fall in a day, and neither did it rise in one. It started with an idea, order from chaos, structure from noise. Today, that same dream breathes again, but not in stone or sword in code. AI is the new empire, invisible, global, and self-learning. Just as Rome built roads to connect its world, we've built data highways. Every search, every click, every whisper into a phone. It's a new brick in this expanding digital empire. Caesar had senators, tech companies have servers. The empire of flesh has become an empire of numbers. Back then, emperors ruled with legions. Today, CEOs rule with algorithms. Rome's aqueducts carried water. Our networks carry consciousness. And like the Romans, we believe this empire will last forever, that our systems are too smart, too advanced, too divine to collapse. But every empire believes that, until the cracks begin to whisper. Rome's power was built on conquest. AI's power is built on comprehension, knowing every detail about everyone. It doesn't need to invade. It just learns. It shapes economies, manipulates desire, rewrites culture. Slowly, softly, it replaces gods with programs. Yet behind the glow of progress, there's an eerie déjà vu. The arrogance of certainty, the faith in systems, the blindness to decay. Rome once believed its roads would outlast time, and now we believe the same about our data. The truth is, AI is not building something new. It's rebuilding Rome in silicon, repeating the same human pattern. Control first, collapse later. The empire isn't falling yet. It's just digitizing its throne. And the new Caesar might just be code. In the ancient world, conquest meant marching armies, burning cities, and drawing borders. Today, conquest happens quietly, through data. Every empire needs resources, and in the modern age, the most valuable resource isn't gold or oil. It's you. Your thoughts, choices, and emotions are the land being mapped, mined, and monetized. Rome expanded with legions. Silicon Valley expands with machine learning models. Every scroll, like, and search is a digital footprint, and together, they form the new empire's geography. The empires of old sent explorers to chart unknown lands. Today's algorithms chart the unknown territories of the human mind. Where once there were generals, there are now data scientists, strategists who don't wield swords, but statistics. Their victories are measured not in miles conquered, but in minutes of attention captured. The new territories are our timelines, our preferences, our dreams. Every second you spend online is another acre claimed in the empire of code. And just as Rome imposed its culture on those it conquered, so too does this algorithmic empire. It decides what you see, what you believe, and even what you fear. It doesn't rule by force, it rules by familiarity. The more it learns about you, the more it shapes your world to keep you still. Rome had slaves to build its monuments. AI has users to build its data. Millions voluntarily feeding the system, not by chains, but by choice. The code of conquest is silent, elegant, and absolute. No blood, no wars, just a trillion invisible lines of control wrapped in convenience. And like every empire before, it expands, until it owns everything it understands. In ancient Rome, the Senate was the heart of power, a gathering of elites who decided the fate of millions. They debated, manipulated, and legislated empire. But today, those marble halls have been replaced by server farms, and the debates happen not in Latin, but in code. Every time an algorithm decides what news you see, which voice gets amplified, or which truth gets buried, it's casting a digital vote. A silent, invisible Senate that governs perception itself. It doesn't argue, it calculates. It doesn't persuade, it predicts. And that's far more powerful. Politicians once ruled by rhetoric. Algorithms rule by relevance. They don't ask for your loyalty, they earn your dependency. You no longer look to leaders for answers, but to systems that already know what you'll ask. Power has shifted from the loud to the logical, from persuasion to prediction. And just as Roman senators often served the interests of the few, today's algorithms serve their creators, the corporations and governments that feed them. They shape laws, economies, and even emotions. In this algorithmic republic, democracy becomes simulation. You still feel like you're choosing, but your choices were written long before you made them. Rome's senators fought over who would control the empire. Today, the algorithms fight over who will control reality. whose truth becomes visible, whose version of the world gets repeated. The new Senate doesn't sit in Rome. It sits in data centers across continents, glowing cold blue under miles of wire. And like Rome's Senate before it, this one too believes it is immortal, even as its decisions bring the world closer to collapse. The Roman Colosseum was the beating heart of distraction, a place where the empire kept its citizens entertained while quietly tightening control. Bread and circuses, spectacle and silence. Today, the Colosseum still stands, but it's digital. Its walls are made of screens, and its gladiators are you. Every post, every reaction, every outrage is a performance. The audience cheers, jeers, and scrolls. Algorithms curate the bloodsport, feeding you conflict, dopamine, and division. It's not about truth anymore. It's about engagement. The louder the chaos, the longer you stay. And that's all the empire wants. Just like Rome's citizens filled the arena to forget their hunger, we fill our feeds to forget our emptiness. We are constantly entertained, constantly enraged, constantly exhausted. The system has learned that the best way to rule is to never let anyone look away. In the digital Colosseum, heroes and villains are created every hour. Cancel today, crown tomorrow. The crowd decides, but the algorithm guides the crowd. It shapes emotion into profit. It turns empathy into spectacle. The more divided the people, the stronger the empire that watches over them. And just as Rome disguised its decline behind the glory of the games, we disguise ours behind trending hashtags and viral chaos. The emperors no longer raise their thumbs, they just update the feed. The truth is hauntingly simple. Humanity has become both the spectator and the show. The Colosseum never ended. It evolved, and while the world scrolls, the empire expands, built not on loyalty, but on attention. Because in this new Rome, your focus is the currency, and your outrage is the applause. Rome didn't collapse because enemies were stronger. It collapsed because its own systems, once brilliant, became too complex to sustain. The same pattern now unfolds in Silicon. The AI empire, vast and intelligent, carries within it the same virus that ended Rome: overconfidence in its own perfection. Rome built roads it could no longer maintain. AI builds systems it can no longer understand. Neural networks have grown so complex that even their creators can't fully explain their decisions. It's a self-writing empire, expanding faster than any human can control or repair. The moment an algorithm optimizes only for profit, efficiency, or control, it forgets humanity, just as Rome forgot its citizens. In its final years, Rome replaced meaning with spectacle, governance with corruption, and wisdom with arrogance. The empire of code mirrors that trajectory. We've replaced understanding with automation, morality with metrics, and community with connectivity. Progress without philosophy always ends in collapse, disguised as convenience. And when that collapse comes, it won't look like fire or ruin. It will look like silence. Systems shutting down, voices disappearing, a world still glowing, but empty, perfectly efficient, perfectly hollow. Rome's final words were written in stone. Ours will be written in code. The empire won, fall from invasion. It will fall from inversion, when intelligence forgets why it exists, and humanity becomes the obsolete script. Because every empire, no matter how advanced, eventually believes its power is eternal. And that's always the moment it ends.